So we hear the term cyber attack. So what does that look like? Like, what is a cyber attack?
Well, I think we see a lot of companies compromised already, right? These things are going on a regular basis. CISA is like an amazing organization. People need to like go online and look up CISA, and they protect America's critical infrastructure, and mostly from cyber attacks and whatnot. So they will talk about trends and things like that. Look, you could have a huge attack that takes out the East Coast, or like the power grids, the water systems and things like that. Personally, I don't think that's what we're going to see, because let's say Russia decides one day it's going to take out the power grid, right? We have to do something, right? We can't not do something. And cyber is one of those things where I don't think at this point, it's not really clear like what's an attack and what isn't. And meaning like, how do we respond? Is this attack sufficient enough for us to have to respond with a military response or not? How do we do that? Do we then take down their power grid? Then is that considered to be an existential threat? Then would lead to a nuclear war? Like, there's a lot of like kind of those questions. What I see happening more, and again, this is just based on just my own thinking here, is that it would be much more specific. So I think it was about 2 years ago, there was a cyber attack in Florida on a reservoir, where they were able to release something into the reservoir and compromise the integrity of it. That affects that area. Now, what if you had that happen, not on a massive scale, it hits the whole United States, but maybe in 10 or 15 different locations, small locations. You don't take down New York City, but you take down, I don't know, Westchester County or Rockland County or Rockville, Maryland, or certain places, and really kind of cause disruption. Those are the kind of things that I think, that could be compromised. There's a sense that out there at the nation states understand how our grid is set up, and not just our grid, but also how the internet's set up. So to me, it's going to be, if we see anything like that, I think it's going to be much more regional. I don't think we're going to have a 9/11 event, because there has to be a response to it. And I don't think anybody wants to wake us up, because look, we're really good at fighting each other, right? Because right now that's pretty clear. But when you piss us off and you do something like a 9/11, or there's a big attack, we come together and we don't let go. America doesn't forget, right? You hurt us, we don't forget. And so I don't think anybody's ready for that. The Chinese, nobody's powerful enough to be able to confront us on that. But if you snipe at us, right, here and there, we tend to be like, kind of like, was it like the bear? So it's just like, it's, and they keep doing it. Look, and these attacks keep happening. And fentanyl, again, I think a lot of these become white noise in a way, because maybe it doesn't touch on us, but that is an immense problem. The FBI just did a big bust in LA. They took down, I was talking to one of the guys out there, I think it was like 40 kilos of fentanyl. It was enough to kill all of Los Angeles. It's just frightening, like what this thing can do and how the impact it's going to have on people. But we can step back if you want. We can kind of circle the globe for a little bit if you'd like, and then we can kind of delve into the. I'm really a happy person, by the way. Like, I'm usually not this.
Happy person. You know what's funny? I say the same things to people like, because of my background, and people look at me. I'm like, no, awful. I'm actually a really warm person.
It's just like here comes the grim reaper to tell me about how our society is about to collapse on itself.
Okay.
Want a drink? Like, well, I'm like,
but you know what? I mean, I don't know if people live in reality or in truth.
Yeah.
And so sometimes. You brought up 9/11. So I was at the World Trade Center 9/11. U.S. Secret Service, our headquarters was there.
Right.
So I lived through that 20-something years ago, and I see, like, it's history now for people. Oh, that thing that happened back then. And in fact, I think it was recently, the FBI director held some conference down in Washington, D.C. I think it was a conference for some local law enforcement sheriffs. And he came out, according to the reports that I was reading, and the director of the FBI said it's not if we're going to get attacked, it's when we're going to get attacked.
Yeah. But, and I think people put in their minds that we're going to get attacked like we got attacked in 9/11, and it may not be like that significant of an attack. It could be lots of smaller attacks. Look, again, we've been attacked every single day. There's been a mass casualty event every single day, right? Think about that. Now, maybe it didn't happen in your neighborhood. Maybe it happened somewhere else. But every single day, we're under attack.
You're talking about shootings.
Shootings,
right?
yeah, mass shootings. I mean, that are happening every single day. 3, 4, however many people are being killed. You know, you have to give pause. People, it's common now to teach your children what to do, where to go in schools. Like, that never happened when I was a kid, right? We planned for nuclear bombs, right? We went under the desk, but seriously, I mean, that's something that I think about too with my kids. I was talking to my sons are like 20s, you know, late teens and 20s. One's in college, and I tell them, you know, if you see something on your car door, don't touch it, right? Don't take a drink from somebody that you don't see if they open the bottle, like things that you wouldn't necessarily tell people, because I'm afraid that there might be fentanyl on that, or there could be something dangerous to them, and inadvertently they could get hurt. And to spread the stories to their friends, all these things.
The thing with the car door, what is it that you're seeing?
Well, again, these are just, you know, kind of things I'm hearing where people will they'll either put money under your, they'll put money under your windshield wiper for you to take, and then they'll use that a lot of times for girls. And then the girls will take the money, and then somebody will attack them and grab them, or that they put some kind of chemical on doors, you know, and they can just leave it behind. You know, you see things on the ground or on the floor that normally you would pick up to help or give to somebody. Don't touch anything. I mean, it's really a weird time to have to think that way and to view everything as a threat. Normally, again, in the United States, we always felt we were insulated. Right? We were always fine. And then we go to the war zones, and then we would be careful, right? I don't know if they taught you this in the service. I mean, one of the things we learned was the red, yellow, green, kind of like, you know, green. We're in a green zone right now. We're not worried about anything happening to us, right? We don't have to look over our shoulder, be careful. If you're in the war zones, you're in red, right? When you're out there and you feel like you need to be aware of, you know, maybe if you're protecting with the president or something, you're always red. But you can only stay red so long. You can only have that much focus for a certain amount of time before your system just collapses. Right? Yellow being somewhere in the middle. Like I'm walking down the street in New York, I'm probably yellow. Like, okay, some guy's getting a little bit close to me, or somebody, what are they doing? Do I need to be careful what's going on in that corner? I hear a loud noise. So we have to be more in the yellow and red zones than we've ever had to be. And that to me we're losing. Like when we kind of lose that, we're losing the war, so to speak.
I have a background in forensic psychology.
Right.
And, you know, I have certain thoughts, but what do you think is going on? Because you're right, like something's off. What is it? 29 years of service, right? It was all with the CIA. Mm-hmm. But what would be maybe the most dangerous scenario you found yourself in?
It's when you know you're talking to somebody who has blood on their hands. When people would ask me, what should I read about to understand the Middle East? I'd never tell them read histories. I'd say, read The Godfather. Like, you want to understand